Hello everyone. Today I am back to show you our additional K2 resources from our online resources on the Lamar Art webpage. So going back to our online resources, I'm going to click on this first square, the K2 apps and links. And there is a bunch of fun stuff in here that is appropriate for our Kinder 2s. If you are a student and you're watching this video, make sure you always check in with your adult to make sure they're okay with you going online and make sure they check it out first. We always want to make sure we're making good choices when we're on the computer, so we always want to check in with our adult first. That's very important. So I'm going to start up at the top here. Our top two games are best for our littles. So if you're in kindergarten or pre-K, these are the games for you. These are both games from Color with Leo. So one of them is our drawing and coloring to print, and then the other one is our shapes, colors, and paintings game. So we're going to click on our first one. So this is all different drawing things that you can do on Color with Leo. So you can mix colors, you can make a portrait, you can draw farm animals with different shapes, all kinds of fun stuff. And then our second one is our art games on Color with Leo. So these ones are a little bit different. You're picking the shape, you're catching paint, figuring out which one doesn't go with the others, which one's different. On a quest, completing shapes, all sorts of fun games and things. So coming back down here, we have Autodraw. Autodraw is a fun tool to draw online easily. So it's kind of cool for a couple different things. You can use it to figure out shapes. You can use it to try out different drawings. But the reason why it's fun is you can draw something and Autodraw will try to guess up here at the top what you're trying to draw. And so once you click on that, it'll turn your drawing into whatever you want. And then you can use it to color or add things or make your own picture. And then you can make a picture of whatever you want, even if you still need to work on your drawing. And the reason why it's neat is because it helps you figure out what shapes you need to make that object. So that's a pretty fun one. Our next one is Thinkdraw, where you can create drawings with objects. So I have it linked here to the candy one. So you can make your own picture out of candy. You can see some recent ones over on the side here, but you can also make ones with trees, valentines, flowers, space, fruit, avatars, all sorts of fun stuff that you can use to make pictures, which is just kind of fun to play with and make your own picture out of whatever you like. I like the candy one the best, but there are all sorts of fun things in there. All right, scrolling down, we have two. These ones are a little bit more advanced, so you might want help with those. These are a little bit better for our second grade buddies, but they're all pretty easy to use. Let's start with Scribbler 2. Scribbler 2 is one of my favorites. Once you open it, sometimes you have to allow your Flash player. Once you download it, it's a really cool scribbly drawing tool that creates kind of these webs. And up at the top, you can adjust how your drawing comes out and how the brushwork works, which is really fun. It's a fun drawing tool to play with. Next, we have Photomosh. Photomosh is just a fun photo editor. You can use your camera or upload a picture, and then it will let you edit it, add some funny, cool effects, stuff like that. Sometimes this website can be a little finicky. I definitely recommend asking for help if you want to use this one. So our next resource is the Kaleidoscope Painter. This one you can definitely use if you're in first grade or in kindergarten. So this one is really fun. So you just click and drag your mouse and it'll start making these super cool kaleidoscope paintings. You can pick different ones. You can change your background and how big you're doing it. You can turn on Autodraw where it'll do it by itself. All sorts of cool stuff. And then if you want to print it or save it, you can do that down here with the yellow buttons. Just really fun use of pretty colors. Next, we have Weave Silk, which is similar. Our bigger kids, our second and third graders, know how to use silk already. It's a little more complicated, but it does kind of the same thing as our Kaleidoscope Painter. So it creates these really super cool, glowing, symmetrical shapes. Isn't that pretty? It's really fun to do, and there's different ways you can do settings up here. You can save the picture. You can change your colors if you drag them together. It'll make them transition. You can change how symmetrical it is, how many sides there are. Everyone really likes this one. This one's really soothing and you can make some really, really cool stuff. So I highly recommend this one, especially if you have a little bit of help. Down here, we've got 2 more drawing tools. So we have pixel art. So pixel art looks more complicated than it is. If you hit this start drawing button, you can draw using pixels. So it's a drawing tool. It looks a lot like Photoshop. So again, this one might be a little more appropriate if you're a little bit older. But if you play around in it, you can usually figure it out. If you are a parent and you're watching this video, the good thing about this is they have a teacher and parent guidance section. So you can go there and check out your information. So you can set them up as a restricted user if you don't want your students accessing comments or creating posts or anything like that, which I really recommend. If you are using this and you are in 2nd or 1st grade, you want to make pictures if you are an adult or a parent, I highly recommend creating a restricted account for your student. Next, we have Adobe Fresco. Adobe Fresco is not like Photoshop. It's a drawing tool. If you have an iPad, which I think 1st grade does, you can download it on the App Store. Normally with Adobe products, you have to pay for it, but if you log in with your single sign-on, you do not have to pay for Adobe Fresco. You have free access to it. I'm not sure how usable it is. I haven't tested it out on one of the school iPads, but it's there if you guys want to try it. It's a really fun drawing resource. Down here, we have some more game type things. So Toy Theater is a whole bunch of cool art games and doodle games that are really fun. Things that it'll show you how to do. You can build, you can do some symmetry projects, some doodles. Some of them are art history, like this Van Gogh and the Hokusai. There's dogs, all sorts of cool art activities in here. Next, we have the Chrome Music Lab. Miss Rachel also has this in her choice board. I like this particular part of the Music Lab. This is the Kandinsky feature. Kandinsky is a famous artist who used to listen to music while he made art. So you can draw different shapes and they'll make different sounds depending on what it is. And then you can make your own music. It's really cool. Change the instruments. So fun. And if you hit this back button, it'll take you to the rest of the Chrome Music Lab, which is really cool as well. Next, we have Tinkercad. These are all more STEAM engineering building types of games. So a lot of them are for building architecture. Take Kids has a game where you can make an imaginary city, which is really cool. So if you're interested in architecture or buildings, this is a really fun one. We've got Tinkercad. Tinkercad, again, is cool for making engineering projects or designing things. You can use code on Tinkercad. So this one might be better for our bigger kids who are in 2nd grade. You might have to create an account. But if it's something you think you'll really like, I recommend it. Next, we have some games from the Fidgets on PBS Kids. PBS Kids has a lot of really cool stuff, but I linked here the Fidgets because the Fidgets are designers and engineers. So you can build a city that will keep the Fidgets dry and safe and design ways to deliver emergency supplies. Design has to do with art just as much as it has to do with science. So they really go hand in hand. So up here, there's games you can build, you can design, and you can watch from the design squad. But again, PBS Kids just has a lot of really good stuff in general. So check out the Fidgets. Those are cool. Then we have our City Creator. Again, just a cool way to build a city. They have different kinds of cities you can build. You get to pick your buildings, your roofs, your people. You can build snow one, a regular city, a medieval city. Pretty cool. It's just a fun game to play. Down here we have some extra games. So this one is kind of more of a relaxation tool. It's not really a game, but when you click, it divides up your screen into more and more gradients. And it's just kind of soothing to watch and play with and see how many different colors you can make. I like to do this one when I'm feeling a little stressed. Makes me feel calm. Our next one is Munez World. Munez World is really cool. It's kind of like scrapbooking online. So she is a found object artist. So she is a found object artist, which means she makes art out of objects from everyday life, buttons, paper, things like that. So if you come over here by these buttons, you can hit create your own artwork. And it'll load in a new window. So that's a cool one. Coming down here, we have another toy theater game, but this one is for animation, so you can make your own stop motion movie, which is really fun. So you can add truck, and you take a picture, and then you move it, and then you take a picture, and then you move it, and then when you play it, it'll show your movie, which is really cool. Then we have Picasso Head. Picasso Head is a fun game where you can make your own abstract face. Picasso is not the only abstract artist out there, but he is the most famous. So you can make your own Picasso face, which is really fun. If you go to the gallery, you can see other people's. You can change the size and the color, make all sorts of funny faces. So that's just a fun one to play and explore abstract. And our last two down here are Take Kids and the Art Institute of Chicago. They are both museums that have their own art games and resources for kids on there, which I highly recommend. They're really fun. They have projects, quizzes, games you can play, things you can make in your own house, all sorts of fun stuff. So I suggest you check both of those out. The Art Institute of Chicago is a little bit simpler. They've got a couple games in their Curious Corner. If you hit Play with Art, you can do any of those, though. Let's see. We hit Play with Art. It'll take us down here. We've got a portrait game, a mask maker, and Cornell boxes. Cornell boxes are kind of like found object. They're really cool. So you can tell a story with a Cornell box. So it'll tell you a little bit about it. Then you can make your own. So there's all sorts of fun stuff in here. I'm going to keep adding more resources as I find them. I'm probably going to keep adding some more games for our littles, for our kindergartners. But in the meantime, these are some fun resources that you can check out. So I hope that was helpful. Now you know a little bit more about what is in here. Again, if your kiddo is in second grade or you're in second grade, you probably already know some of these games, but make sure you check with your adult before you play with them, just because we always want to make sure that it's okay with our adult first.